But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. This is gonna be episode 2 of Dinner and Debates. We're gonna just jump right back into where we left off. For all those who haven't seen what happened last time, make sure you tune in. Brand New TV. It's on YouTube, so just check it out. Search Brand New TV. But yeah, everybody raise your glasses. My man Madu's underage, so he's got his cranberry juice over here. Episode 2 of Dinner and Debates. How's everybody doing?
Smooth, man. Full.
Good?
Yeah.
Food was good?
Excellent. Delicious.
Like these General So's hit the spot.
That's what's up. That's what's up. This has been an awesome experience so far. Good feedback online, and people are enjoying the show. Got a couple new guests. Steve is new. Very intelligent man. I met him. He actually used to be my boss. He always used to, crack the whip, and he called me late at night. It was crazy, man. He was just on me all the time, man. I couldn't do anything right, so it was actually the opposite. It was a blessing, so that's why he's here.
Thank you.
And Madu, this is my nephew. So, he's blood, and I love him with all my heart. Very intelligent young man. But I want to hear what everybody has to say on the topic of programming. And where we left off last time was Schoolboy kind of dropped the bomb on the whole proceedings and took it to a whole nother level where we started discussing the difference in human programming versus what he does for a living is artificial intelligence programming, which is what he thought we were actually going to be discussing. And basically, you know what? I don't want to say it the wrong way, so I just want you to put that little part back out there, what you explained about the two focuses. And then not everybody at this table, and I'm not going to speak for them, believes all the way in programming. So I want whoever disagrees to be able to, say what their piece is. And then I'm going to let you guys also come in and kind of elaborate before I take us to the next step. Okay?
If I could make it really short and sweet.
Go ahead.
The way that night went, though, what is really the difference? Is there really a difference?
Between the human programming and the AI programming?
Sure.
I don't think there's a difference, but in the way you're asking it, but I think the difference is it's going to eventually eliminate us. And maybe not everybody, but a large amount.
Humans or...
Humans. Because small little thing I saw, not a big thing, but it's small right now. McDonald's has the kiosk now that you can go up there and punch in exactly what you want on your sandwich. It pops up and blah, blah, blah. That takes away all the cashier people during the rush that you have to deal with because you're just in there punching your own thing. So now you just have a smaller workforce behind, and what's going to happen is more and more that is eventually going to happen.
Yeah, well, we've got rid of survival of the fittest. So really stupid ass people are going to walk up to those kiosks. It'll take 30 minutes just to figure out how to get a Big Mac, and
the first time.
Maybe every time. But it doesn't matter. You're going to sit back there.
Yeah,
wait for them.
That's not going
wait for them to
make
take
them
forever.
people-proof.
No, but the thing is,
They're going to make them
again,
people-proof. You won't be able to screw it up.
no.
Read
I
your
mean,
mind, then?
right now, everyone and their mother has a tablet in their hand.
Right.
And that's exactly what they're representing on a kiosk. It's the same interface that you use every single day. You're going to know how to swipe. Mm-hmm. Unless you're the older demographic, you're going to know exactly what you need to do. It might take you some time to get used to the interface, but you're going to know, I need to swipe, I need to click, I need to add this to my cart, because this is what you do every day.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon to Facebook to whatever.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an IT buyer for Wendy's QSCC, which is the supply chain co-op.
Okay.
So, I'm kind of speaking from a point of knowledge in that, in a sense of, what they're targeting as opposed to, and again, it's because the average franchisee now also has a lot of overhead fixed costs. So they're forced to bring their labor costs down, and that's what these kiosks are meant to do. It's not a necessary point of it being a programming or some type of other sinister
but I
objective.
So is it going to get to a point where you're like, I got iPadded today. That was awesome. Like, I didn't get like a human hologram pops up. It's like, oh, you're old. I have to talk to you. Like, is that what you're going to do with a kiosk? Nope. Because I promise you, my father, he's going to walk up. He's going to be like, forget McDonald's. I'm going down to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing.
That's your father.
No, but also,
But that's still
as
like
each generation keeps going, there's going to be less of your fathers,
and that's something that
and they're going to be programmed to something different than your father was programmed to.
And that's something
but
that
that's
these
still
organizations are wary about, and that's why you'll still see people there to help those people who need specific.
I'm not saying this is going to.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just
but
saying.
It's going to be a trickle down because I can't be that stupid to where I've been to McDonald's 10 times. I'm using the same kiosk. Like sometimes I figured out at some point I want my chicken nuggets with my sauce and my Big Mac and my drink. I can't be that stupid to where I'm like, oh, where's the sauce again? Like, it's not gonna be like they're not gonna need you anymore because I'll just have one person like they have a Kroger that stands there and he mans 12 of those checkout things. And when he has a problem, I walk over to Steve and I'm like, okay, I'll fix your problem. And then I'll go over to you and I'll fix your problem. But I'm not going to have 12 different people sitting there doing the job that I can have computers doing and then just have one human fixing the problem for each computer that happens sporadically.
It's even worse if I walk up and it's like, oh, here's all the cheapest shit on the menu right now. That's actually what my
confused
kiosk
as
was
to
telling
what
us
the
to.
actual gripe is about.
Well, that's what I'm like. So you got a point, and you got a point. But are any of you actually answering each other?
No, I'm not. No, I wasn't answering anything. I was just interjecting
He took it a little deeper than I wanted him to, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, I interjected just because of he put a specific example out, and I'm.
Well, I'd like to hear your thoughts from that point you just made about how it's just basic and everybody's used to it in tablet. What you're saying is 100% true, and what he's saying is 100% true. So, what are your thoughts? Not from, I guess, Wendy's point of view, but just as a human being.
No.
What's going to happen to all those people in all those jobs?
But the thing is, all those people in those jobs, in the QSR industry, or in these different, what is the word? Cities, communities where minimum wage is rising. That's great for the people, right? But again, industries have to evolve. That's pricing the average franchisee. The margins are so short, they have to evolve. So they're actually going to then invest in a high fixed cost, which is going to be the technology, the kiosks, all the peripherals, whatever, to make that investment so that they don't have to rely on labor. Right now, we also have we don't have a shortage of jobs. So those individuals, and also, we're talking about that particular labor force. There are a lot of constraints there in general, as far as people being on time, people being trustworthy. It's just in general, you know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of different things
you have to deal with humans that
yes,
you don't
exactly.
have to deal with computers and AI.
And again, it's all of that put together that forces people to then have to make this decision. And again, it's not just going to be flat out.
So we have already started to go deeper down the rabbit hole than I thought we were going to, but we're starting to get into, because when we left off, what I wanted to know and when we stopped was who is doing the programming, because we all kind of agreed to that point. Well, he kind of didn't agree as to are we really programming. That's where I wanted to steer it, but we've gone so far to the point that we've skipped a little bit of the who, and we're getting to more of the why. So although I'm definitely going to get to the why, I want to go back to the who so we can walk them step by step through this before we get to where we're at right now, because we can start to answer these questions and blow this whole thing up if you guys want to do it right now. But we're going to miss the point of, I want to know who you guys, because it's important to me to find out what you guys feel as to who is doing the
Tell you
program.
about Australia.
Oh, they got little sidebars. So somebody here at the table does not feel that programming is all the way legit. So go ahead and speak up.
I mean, when you say programming is not all the way legit, this whole programming thing to me is just so broad. So again, the other day we were at my place. We were talking about programming, and for me, again, we're talking about personal levels, like the stimuli that you get, how it affects you as a person. And again, I can say this with almost absolute certainty that if you give the same two people the same stimuli like all their lives, they're still gonna turn out to be different people.
Okay.
So it's not, for me, it's not just saying that like programming on a generic sense, chooses our life path.
But what you're
I think
talking about
that's-
is overcoming programming. What you just explained is that they are giving a program and they decide to handle the program differently. What you didn't tell me is that programming didn't exist.
But programming, what's programming? Upbringing. Which is it?
I'm just giving you what you gave me.
But you're talking about a grander sense. I'm talking about your parents. Where you grew up. You're also talking about like an establishment type thing, right?
Yes.
I don't
And there's
necessarily
different.
I don't necessarily.
And I'm
subscribe to that.
glad he brought that up. There's different levels of programming. You have your home training. That's programming. You got your school training. That's why people pay so much to go to certain schools and different things like that, because they know you're going to get a certain different type of programming at the prep school than you're going to get at the inner city school with the trashy teachers with the curriculum that they don't pay any money to.
Why is he pointing at you, Madu?
No, but you guys understand, like, there's different levels of programming. There's governmental programming. There's rich people programming, because they're the ones who really run everything that's happening. I'm not going to go too much into that, but that should give you a little foreshadowing into how the way my mind thinks of things. But there's always programming. What you just explained to me is that, yes, me and him could have the same parent that's an alcoholic. I could end up an alcoholic. He's going to decide he's never going to drink alcohol in his life because of the same experiences that he went through. But that doesn't mean that we didn't get programming. But more than not, you're going to end up an alcoholic than not an alcoholic like him. There's a greater chance that you're going to end up like me than you're going to end up like him.
But see, I think this is where
Who is doing the
but I
program?
think this is where we differed last time, right? Up to a sense. If you want to call it programming, I want to call it upbringing, stimuli, whatever, environment. But up to a point where I think it's to an establishment level, in the way that you're kind of proposing it.
Okay. Well, I'll let it get there at a different point. Do you guys have anything you want to add, since you're kind of new to the fray, on your thoughts of programming and who you think is doing the programming, if you believe or if you don't believe there's programming?
Well, I definitely agree with a lot that you were saying about like the different levels of programming, because I know, like, personally for me, like, I've seen the programming of like in your household, like your parents, how they raise you, whenever, and then obviously you have the schools and then the higher levels than that. But like, just speaking for me personally, like, I know the programming in like my house, like my parents, they have certain values and ideals, and those values and ideals they want their kids to follow in those footsteps. That's like the path that they're laying for you. And obviously, like, everyone is different, and although it might be the same stuff going into them, like how it's given to them is different as the kids go. So although it's the same program, some people receive that program in different ways, and that kind of also affects how they receive it. And then like with schools, I know when I was younger, I was in like one of the magnet schools, so it's different than like the public school. We're on like different calendar, and like the teaching, how they emphasize stuff, like it's different than what someone else would be getting. And not that it's specifically supposed to be programmed that way. Like obviously that's their intention, but it's like because of where I come from, like I'm able to access that, and my parents are looking for the best way to give me the information that I need to get. So
Where do you go to school?
right now I go to Ohio State University, the Ohio State.
My man.
And
Well done, sir.
so you have a book that got published, right?
Yeah.
What age is that? How old are you?
I think I was 13. It was like the end of my 7th grade year.
Okay. And there's a lot of other things I could rattle off, but that's not the point of this. Do you think that was by chance that those things happened? Or do you think that my sister helped program you to do a lot of the things that you accomplished?
I will definitely
Be honest.
I know.
And
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
keep it real.
I definitely have to say that it's not by chance. It goes almost entirely into like that's how my mom programmed me and has programmed us, because
Your programs, you use program. You said program like 30 times.
It is. This is what it is. We are programmed. Some people believe it, but some people don't.
But for me, well, when she was a kid, she had a lot of accolades. There's a lot of big things that she was doing, and then there's things that she's learned over her life that she's like, had I done this when I was younger, like this is where I could be.
Right.
And so for her, it's like, I know all of this now. Like, let me give this information to my kids so that way they can do what I couldn't do back then because I didn't know this. And I mean, I'll get into like an issue I kind of see with that later, but with that, it's like, so for me, in 5th grade, I got Incredible Kid of the Year award in like Central Texas or something like that, and then my teacher that I had nominated me for a leadership conference, and that's kind of where the whole book came from. I had gone to that conference, I was invited to another one, and my parents told me that like I had to pay for it on my own. So I'm like, how am I going to make that kind of money? And because of what I had been taught in my writing skills, I decided I'd write a book. And so that's kind of where it came from. So you had me writing the book at 13. Then you have my sister under me. She wrote a book when she was like 9, I think.
His sister's book is the reason why I was able to write a book. So a 9-year-old programmed me to be able to do the things that I needed to do to accomplish stuff as a grown man. Okay.
But yeah, so you have me writing the book at 13, then my sister writes a book at 9. Now we have my sister Anna. She has a cupcake business.
Oh, cupcakes are delicious.
And she's 13 now, but I think she's been doing this for almost maybe a year or something around that.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's just stuff like that most kids, most families that you would see, like,
And
they're
none
not
of it is
doing
by chance.
stuff like
Trust
that
me,
at that
watch
age.
it go down.
I mean, you have the few here and there, but it's just not something you see often.
I like the fact your parents didn't tell you, no, you're not going to get a book published. That's awesome.
That's what I was thinking. How many parents would back that?
My dad would tell me to go get a lawnmower.
Yeah. Go deliver
It's all,
newspapers.
but it's not. It's all programming. If you knew how my sister was programmed from when her nickname as a black African American from Nigeria woman, her nickname was Mr. President from my dad. I don't know if the stats are correct. I may mess up because it's crazy anyway. I think she was a double major, double minor. I don't even know if that's possible. Yeah. Law degree, you know what I mean? So it's like her mentality didn't come from randomness. And I've noticed this in so many other people. And then I've noticed that now intentionally they're making people stupid. And us as the overseers above the next generation, because I have a 7-year-old, are not taking the time because we've also been programmed to do so many other things that keep us busy to not focus on the next generation. But I'm not gonna get too deep. What are you thinking?
No, I mean, I'm agreeing with so much what I'm hearing, but at the same time, it's like I feel like we're just talking about different things. Like what you're calling programming is what your family accomplished. First of all, that story is like, damn, I failed. You know what I mean? Well done. No, like that. So you're right. Somebody said, parents want to see the best out of their children, so but everything in life is a program at that point. Religion is a program. Everything, school.
And
I don't care if it's public or private. Whatever they're teaching, there's something behind it. Why is it that they're teaching that? I'm 39 years old. I just found out like 4 years ago that the globe that I always just took to be the globe was horribly inaccurate as far as like depicting like what the world actually looks like. And you're like, so when you start thinking about it on that level, then yeah, I'm with you that there's programming being done, and it is a mass mind controlled kind of thing. But I don't think it's, if it is coming from the computer side, then game over. We lost because they'll win. But I think it's from a human side, and I think that's.
But that's what I'm saying. It's on the human side as far as relations. It's not to take away.
See, those are two different things. It's two different things. I'm not going to stop you, but there's two different things. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's not to take away from, what you can instill in others, right? I.e. your parents, i.e. your parents, i.e. my parents, i.e. everyone's parents. The neighborhood you grew up in. But again, when it goes to that grandiose scale, is where for me, I'm like, look, you can't give me any facts. Yeah, I can say that my mom made an imprint on me. You can all say that as well. But you can't tell me that, like, just because I grew up in America, I look at it a certain way. My experiences may have had a different, impact, but it's like, I just don't think it's like more of a sinister aspect.
But why can't you say that? Because if you think about it, like China and the education system and how things are there, like just how, and let me not say like Chinese specific, but like Asian kids in general. But if you look at how they approach like school and learning and stuff, and the importance they see in that, like compared to American kids, where it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. This is a waste of my time.
Yeah, but
like,
that's also cultural. Same with Nigeria.
That's cultural programming.
It's just
that's cultural.
It's just a different term, a different way for the same thing.
Okay.
Oh, you left out the programming. You said cultural. You just left out the other word. They didn't just cultural like pixie dust. They culturally programmed them, and that's why their culture is different than our culture.
Maybe then what I can say is I'm not comfortable with the word programming, because it seems as though it's like, again, something that is literally injected in you. Yes, hold on. Yes, your culture is one thing, but again, it's not like you're on a blanket scale. You know what I mean? It's not, again, Chinese people have their own, attributes, but it's not to say that each single person from each single province or each single area is exactly the same because they're programmed by the Chinese government.
That's
not no. When you want to say program, because program sounds generic. But no.
If you want to box it in, I've never tried to box it in.
No, wait.
I've never tried to box it in. Yeah, it's not an assembly line where every Ford truck is a Tacoma or whatever the frick they're called.
The way that you think, why you think what you think, that's the programming. And you think it's free will. You think it's your own thoughts because you've gathered this information and this information and this information. But that information that you brought in, you were programmed to think the way you did. You didn't come to that conclusion on your own.
You didn't.
It was
it was from the government. Or was it from
I'm not saying this from the government.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, you're right. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's not like I woke up and just.
Okay, well, I'm glad you said that. But again, hold on. I'm glad you brought that up because you just asked the next question. Who is doing the program?
That's what I'm saying. It's not like I'm saying I just woke up and was like, yeah, this is
I go with.
I have my. If you guys know my answer, I can give it to you right now. But I can let you guys go first.
No, you go first, please.
Good go.
You thought you were gonna slide out of
that? No, trust me. I've been ready for this a long time coming, man.
I think we're gonna be really close. That's why I'm excited to hear.
And I mean, we're all the way there at this point. RICH.
Yeah,
I can second that.
And it's so elite. I think it's not even just the random like you've
Look back to the books that you guys read when you were in school when they talked about Parliament and all these other different things that were going on. And what were they talking about the rebellions were about? That the people who were in the elite were doing this and doing this and doing that. It's always going to be about money. I didn't want to go this fast, but we're here. It's always going to be about money. Every man, and I don't want to say every, because I haven't gone through all of them, but the majority of man-made issues and the reason for programming or the reason for evil or the reason that we have hurt is because of money. And if you guys want to really start delving into it, you can bring up each topic and we can pull it out. And I'll tell you at the end of the day, there's going to be a money sign at the end of it. And that's
For sure.
why we are being programmed. We are going to eliminate ourselves eventually because if...
So hold on, elaborate. That's why we're being programmed. We're being programmed to do what?
To eliminate ourselves. Because, let me put it this way, okay?
Okay.
Top 1%. I don't know how much they have, but I've looked at Forbes' list. I've looked at different things. There are people right now who have 140 billion, 50 billion, 40 billion, 30 billion, 25 billion, 10 billion. I'm just talking about America. I'm not even going to the other places, right? So every year that person is alive or that company is alive, their goal is to make more money than they did the year before. Well, we're not inventing new money. They always say that money isn't made on trees, so you're going to have to take it from somewhere. So the only way that I can get richer is to take it from someone else. So I need to program you to spend and to do dumb shit and to continue to give your money for reasons that are irrelevant to life to feed my evil, because the statement the love of money is the root of all evil. So I ask you guys, when does the love of money begin? Is it when I have 2 houses? Is it when I have 3 houses? Is it when I have 100 million? 300 million? 500 million? When do I stop making money? We're in a capitalistic society with no cap. So the program and the reason that we're all being programmed to eventually have what he's talking about, where there's more computers than actual humans doing stuff, like in the crazy movies that we watch, is because the people who are making money knows it's going to make them more money to have less of us in McDonald's doing stuff that the computer can do.
But to make money, you have to have somebody spend the money, right? That's what you're saying. But you can't eliminate who's going to
You
spend
can't
the money.
eliminate all of them, but do we need all these people?
No, I mean, that's what I'm talking about with the crowd control, the mass. that now you're getting into all kind of ways that society has found a way to...
What are you gonna do with everybody else? Feed them like all the kiosk mess ups, from McDonald's and stuff.
Right now, the U.S. throws away 40% of its food.
Sure.
We have hunger problems. And you understand what I'm telling you? 4 out of every 10 burgers is being thrown in the trash. What are you talking? They don't care about the masses. What are you guys talking about?
Right.
That's not even in the equation.
So
Money is the equation. And right now, they're making enough money to where they don't need all these people because only a certain percentage of people are able to go to the football games. Only a percentage of us are going to the grocery store. There's only a percentage of us going to the movies. Everybody's not going. There's a lot of people that are... Think about it, every year, when your parents were working, when our parents were working, they had pension plans. They're great 401ks. You work 30 years in the same job. You'd have a nice house to show for it, blah, blah, blah. They got reverse mortgage now. You pay them back to the bank so they can sell it back to the next person to do it all again. They're just figuring out more and more ways to make money, and the only way they can do it is by screwing you, and you. And we're just all falling for it, and I don't understand why. And I had to sit down and think about it, and it's because they figured out if we program you in a certain way, you can't stop it. Mm-hmm. So the only way to stop it, and I don't know how long I'm going to make it after putting all this information out, is to program yourself and the people around you.
So when you say they, you mean like the banks in coordination with...
I already explained who they was because you guys wanted me to reveal it. Nobody should have a question as to who they is at this point.
Well, I am still confused.
The
rich.
Just rich people.
The rich people in general. It's not about black. It's not about white. It's not about Asian.
Well,
They've changed the whole format. It's not about racism.
I don't
if
think,
you can get
I don't
enough
think
money, you're in.
Billion, I don't think
rich
they hand you a card and say, welcome to the
That's
club.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm wondering. Like,
I
rich
think
people?
it's way more exclusive than you think.
Go ahead. Break it down.
When you hit 40 billion, I don't think they hand you a card and say, hey, welcome to the club. Now you're part of the
rich people. Is that what the rich people?
You're telling me what you think it's not. What do you think it is?
I think it's a select power group that's been in power as long as this country's been around, and the Rothschilds and these families that have always been in control of what you said is dead on right. We all know this. Money.
Okay.
And everything in your life has something to do with money. All of it.
All
of it has something to do with money. Good, bad.
You cannot survive in this new society that's been made up without money. If right now I knew how to live in the wilderness and kill deer and fish and live off the land, I cannot do that.
Well, I mean, just
somebody owns the land. I'm going to jail for being on somebody's property. You cannot live the normal societal life that God or evolution or whatever you say. It's been programmed into this world where you can walk down the street with your kid and there's no coyote that's going to run up and snatch your kid. So you think it's all safe out here.
But not the world, the United States. I think that's an important thing that somebody brought up earlier that we need to hammer home. What they're teaching in China is a whole different thing.
Well,
so
we're getting
the United States, what we're calling the norm isn't so norm. Like we all took it for granted. Think about this. We all took it for granted that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were the only two people qualified to run the show. And we were like, yep, well, I guess we got to pick one of these two. Who decided those two? You know what I mean?
We had a third guy, but they ran
him
off. We watched them do this shit, and we all let it happen. And now, you know what? Yeah, I'm not even going to go down there, but that's some funny shit. That's the type of shit that lets me know the programming is going on, because the only thing that Donald Trump offered was money. That was the only thing he offered.
That's the program going haywire.
I'm just saying, that's the only thing. That's the no, seriously. The reason why
it's corruption. That dude, it's up.
No, but why are you corrupt? Why are you corrupt?
Because I programmed.
No. To corrupt. No, that's not the answer. I'm not trying to be funny.
Okay.
Because we delved into why there's programming. We've moved past the programming. We all understand there's different types of programming. You can evolve from it. You can overcome it. Whatever. We've moved past that now. We're now the who and why. And the why is, I've told you guys because you wanted to know, it's money. That's why. So the reason that guy's programmed, not because of programming, it's because of money. There's always money in the end of why you're going to do what you're going to do in this society. And the shit that's hilarious to me is that money is made up. Yeah. It's not even real. It used to be fucking goats and cheese and barley and shit.
Now it's just a piece of paper.
Now it's a piece of paper
on a computer.
40 years from now, it's not going to be no paper. There's the penny's about to get eliminated. They're like, why do we even have the penny anymore? And I'm looking at all you people. You could go to the bank like in 4 days, and they're like, oh, it's back to goats and sheep. And everybody's gonna be like, I need to sell all my fucking shit and get goats and sheep.
I need 40,000.
You know what I mean? Like that's what it's all about. I'm real, bro. This is the whole point of this whole thing. But you guys want to get there, we're there. But nobody's really refuting what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you have any gold bars and like a lock safe somewhere?
And I'm not revealing my secrets.
Right.
I mean,
I'm just saying, if you don't have like the malleable metals from like ancient times, like somehow it still comes back to that.
I'll be all right when whatever happens. I'm gonna be okay.
I went through this in my head the other day. Swear to God. I came down with what's worth the most in weight is actually like rare earth metals. Has to be. So you're gonna create technology off of rare earth metals. It's in everything now. Cell phones.
You know who has a mass quantity of rare earth
China.
metal? And North Korea. They just
Oh,
don't have
really?
they don't have
I
the
didn't know
technology
that.
to get to it yet. But yeah, they got it.
We have some, but we
Oh.
scraped it off for coal.
Well, I'm not even gonna do that. I ain't trying to go to jail. It's okay. That's a good fact, man.
Yeah.
Great fact.
But like,
just
how,
saying,
do you,
it-
how do you get back to like
It
a
doesn't look
monetary
good for the
value?
United States, is what I'm saying. I think the empire is crumbling and it's happening real time in front
Right
of us.
in front of our eyes.
Yeah,
And that's what I said.
It's not a story about something mythical that could happen. It's happening.
But that's
Like,
the biggest.
our dollar's weaker. We owe the world everything. We got terrible fucking leadership. We're
But
clowns on the world stage.
why that is?
That's why I say
Because
that's
because,
the
yeah,
biggest
rather
detriment
than
right
the
now.
people who are at the top actually reinvesting back into the U.S. because they love it like other countries do and actually caring about it flourishing, America is like a prostitute. Everybody's getting a turn. Anybody who sells anything is trying to sell it for more than it was worth, and the next guy got into, and they're trying to take advantage. They're trying to do whatever they can to get more in their pocket, regardless of whatever happens to actually America. And that's what's hilarious to me, is because as Americans, as we sit here talking about how great the country is, while we're being raped, nobody is actually trying to do anything. And I'm just like, either you're stupid or you're programmed. There's gotta be a reason why you could be this stupid.
Well, when you say hold on. When you say these people that are allowing it to happen, right?
Yes.
Right now,
The smartest, the PhDs, the master's degrees, I just want to make sure that we know who they is. Go ahead.
No, when I say they, I'm going to definitely get more specific.
Okay.
I'm not just so they being more so this administration, right?
What administration?
This current administration.
No, bro. What are you talking
I
about?
thought you were talking about. I thought you said something
this
about
has been happening
us being
before.
the laughing stock.
Man,
of-
this is it. We've been a
I thought you
laughing
were talking about
stock
the US
forever.
government.
Yeah.
Every year we're going low in science and math. Every year before Trump got into this, this has been happening long before
Right.
Trump, bro. This has nothing to do with Trump. Trump is just the next puppet. He's programmed. He didn't even know he's programmed. He's the worst program of all the programs.
Well, okay,
Now-
so when you
Right.
see when you say program like that, though, here's where you lose me. Nobody, it did the Matrix no good to program the guy that climbed up into the hotel in Vegas and just started sniping it through the concert.
Okay.
That program went way fucking haywire. If you're telling me that,
Okay.
so where I disagree with what you were just saying, to try to bring it full circle real quick, is I don't think Donald Trump's programmed and doesn't know. I think he's, if anything, he's the guy that's fucking up with the program. Like, he was the shooter in the fucking
that's
tower
cool
that
too.
went against it.
That's
all.
cool too. That would make sense.
And then you start listening to what he says, and you're like,
That would make sense. I feel
Like,
you.
nah.
I feel you.
Donald Trump, and he's like, yeah. What happened? I said, this administration, they're like, nah.
Well, he went.
Donald Trump,
he
he's like,
went
yeah.
specific, but before Trump, there's been
What I'm saying,
programming.
you
He's
can-
not the first one.
If you believe in
That's
what you're
crazy.
saying and you're buying into it, then we're all part of this program. Then what I'm saying is we can put, not everybody, no matter how hard mom and dad try to instill their program, takes what mom and dad are trying to offer.
Yeah.
Now, we all know that story. We all can point to people we know in our lives that's true about. So the program doesn't always work on the level that I feel like you're trying to. It has
That's
to
what
be.
I'm saying.
Okay, no, go ahead. Elaborate.
No, but it's like there are a lot of things that you've said, and I mean, I haven't had there's just a lot of things that you said. But again, going back, and I'm not even sure which one to draw to. But
start with whichever one, man. Just
no, I mean, I was going off of just what he was saying as far as where the U.S. because again, being more specific. Right now, you talk about the administration. You talk about they who are allowing things to happen. When you say they, you say the rich. But again, I'm saying they, meaning this administration. Because again, on a general scale, it's not as if everyone is in accordance with what's happening. it's fucked up, the fact that we are the laughingstock because of what's going on, because of the policies, because of the person that's spearheading the entire United States. But again, it's not saying like, when you say they, it's not the masses. It's again a select few, and then to be more specific, it's this administration and the people, the 30-40% of the Republicans who are fueling it. If you want to get into statistics,
What?
But again, that's for me getting specific about this particular situation, and that's what I was going to say if that's what we were talking about.
What percent of this country controls most of the money?
We've been told 1%.
Select few.
So when you say a select few, you're talking about the exact percentage of people that I'm talking about. Because it can't get any more select few than 1%. The only thing we can get less than that is 0%. So we're talking about the select few that I'm discussing are running this country and programming the masses, and that's what he just
But no,
explained.
running the country is
Go
one.
ahead. No,
Running
no.
the country. Hold on. Sorry. Running the country is one thing.
Okay.
That's a whole separate conversation. Well, then when you say programming the masses is where I'm like, again, you lose me. Because
I think it's take the next step. Get past Donald Trump and say, okay, who decided, again, what I said 10 minutes ago, who decided that just her and just him were the, like, what power
Who
would that
decides
be?
what's on TV?
Yeah.
Why do I hear this like sports? If I click on sports tomorrow and I go through 8 different channels, they're all discussing the same topic. If I go to the news, they're all discussing the same topic. If shit happens with banks and there's a cover-up, how is that happening?
well, do you know what then? Because again, I can't relate.
What do you mean? You're here. What do you mean? You
Hold
can't?
on.
That's a cop-out, bro.
No. Can I finish?
Okay.
I can't relate simply because I don't go on cable and look at SportsCenter and this place, and it's so I'm not getting the same readout that you are.
So
and
from
again,
what-
not saying
so
and
from
hold
what
on.
you're getting a whole bunch of different things?
Can I finish? Hold on. So I'm not getting the same readout as you, and so I'm sure there are a lot of people who aren't getting the same readout as you as well.
Okay.
I'm not saying that what you're getting is wrong, but I'm saying again, you can't generalize that. Just
I'm
because- hold on.
asking you if what you're getting is giving you something different than what I'm getting to where
Obviously, because we have different viewpoints.
So what you're saying is that when you watch whatever you're watching, you see a whole bunch of happiness and love and cheering and kindness and stuff going on in there.
It's not necessarily even, but you were just not. That's not what you were just talking about. You were talking about the repetitive nature of what you're looking at.
That's what I just explained.
It's not happiness or
you
love.
You just said what I just explained. The repetitive nature of what I'm looking at. Every movie I watch is mostly the same. You're not going to see kindness and love in most movies. When I see money, it's usually depicted the same. If I see black people, they're usually depicted the same. Repetitive things that you're viewing. You just said it out of your mouth. What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I think we're on just 2 different levels right here. Because again, I'm talking about you getting this. You literally. Let me go back to your example.
Okay.
So you watch SportsCenter. You watch some other sports network. You watch some other sports network. You get the same thing.
Okay.
You put on CNN. You put on some other news, whatever. You get the same thing.
Yeah.
That's your readout of what you're seeing.
Okay.
Understood. Me, it's different. I don't watch cable like that. So
What are
that's
you
not-
watching?
Hold on, it's not. I watch ESPN, ESPN FC, soccer news. I go on ESPN news here. I listen to podcasts. So I'm getting a different readout.
Okay.
And I'm saying the variance of what we're getting is the same with other people. So again, what you're seeing, you can't just say that's what everyone is seeing. That's what I'm trying to call out.
But where he's right and where I don't think you're acknowledging is, okay, so there's you can Google this actually exists. I think it's from like 2017's Christmas season of, I think it's like 50 different local markets, so NBC4, ABC6, On Your Side, I'm talking local news, leading into a story on their news, and the opening 2 sentences are all the same. And in this particular story, the opening 2 sentences was, even though it's Christmas time, it's okay to buy yourself something nice as well. So think about what I just told you. In 50 different markets in this country, the local news, the trusted, not CNN, not the assholes at Fox, the guy that lives down the street from me, the local fucking news is telling me And his message is, even though it's Christmas time, it's okay to buy yourself something nice as well. Why would... So, where I agree with what ID's saying, where I feel like you stop and won't take that next step, is somebody has an ultimatum and a motive to make 50 different cities get the same.
So I'm going to ask
two
I'm going to ask
sentences.
50 cities.
Or
Oh, so
it's
cities,
program.
not states, yeah?
Like local markets.
Okay, so
like Columbus
now
News
what
led
else? So
with this
now let
story,
me
and then it cut to Indianapolis.
So now let me
Same
ask.
two
So now let
sentences.
me ask. Did you check who owns those?
Right.
stations?
Now we're
that's-
talking about
no,
that
no, no,
leak.
no, no, no. Yes, you're absolutely
So
right.
now-
You're talking about. Yeah, you're talking about that leak.
Now,
But again,
so what's the motive behind the message? They had to think to themselves, okay, we got to get 50 news stations to say these same two sentences.
What is the only
That's
motive that we
mass
can all agree
population control. That's
I think-
keeping.
I
that's-
think-
on? What is the only motive
I mean-
that we can all agree on?
it's obvious.
What he's saying, I don't think he's trying to say that
It's so
everyone is
obvious,
getting
it's
programmed,
hilarious, but
the
I will get
program
into
exists.
why it's obvious and it works, because it's going to work and it's going to keep working, and that's why the Bible is the way it is, because money is the root of all evil for a reason, because everybody who doesn't have money, if I looked at all of you right now and I said, hey, I'm going to give you $10 million cash, $10 million cash, you don't get to work the rest of your life. I'm going to tell you right now, $10 million cash is $400,000 in interest in a podunk bank every year. None of y'all are making $400,000 right now. So all of y'all could live off of $400,000 a year and just leave the $10 million in the bank. Buy a house, get cars, go on vacations, all that good stuff. And that's only $10 million. I'm not talking about $100 million, $200 million, $500 million, $1 billion, $20 billion, $50 billion, $100 billion. I'm talking about $10 million. All of you right now would take that shit. But I guarantee you, if you could dribble a basketball and if you could dunk like LeBron James and you had 100 and something million on the table, all of a sudden your whole perspective changes. And you're like, oh, well, I can only give away 10 million of that. I'm going to need to keep 110 of that. Wait, before you were able to get this dollar amount, it was cool to have the 10 million. And that's why greed and money is eventually what's going to end our society. That is the whole thing that is happening right now.
But
the greedy want more, and they don't
when you
understand
say our
that
society,
it's
in
not
your head,
sustainable.
when you say our society, are you talking about global planet, a race of humans,
Eventually-
or the fall of the United States? as we know?
Eventually, it will. Well,
Which one?
if you
is,
guys
when
really,
say,
if you guys really want to get into it, my beliefs is that there is a Sodom and Gomorrah. I believe that the stories in the Bible were based on things that may not have happened. But when I look at what's happening, there is always somebody that's going to take the fall. And we are the lead in evil.
oh, that was tripping out.
Damn, bro! Hey, man, what the fuck is that shit?
wow.
I'm so sorry. That was not planned. I know you guys don't believe me. Hey, John.
That's fucked up.
Hey, bro, you can't lean back. Don't worry, bro. What the fuck? No, real talk, man. Damn, where was I? I really,
That's what I heard was evil.
Yeah.
Everything.
that's you know, we got all the way there, and we'll keep going down it more as we go. But those are my beliefs, man. Is that, you know, sayings like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And then you get in business and you see people who are fucking stupid as fuck in positions that they shouldn't be in, and it's because of who they know.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many sayings. Look both ways before you cross the street. No, cats didn't say that for no reason. It's because somebody didn't look both ways and they got hit by a car or whatever happened. So there's reasons these sayings happen. And as funny as it is, that's why these sayings are what they are. And so when I look at the statement that the love of money is the root of all evil, and I look at this country and there's no cap, there's nobody that gets to Jeff Bezos, 140 billion, and it's like, you know what? I've made enough money to where now I can just start solving. We have a government shutdown. This man could take care of the whole government shutdown by himself and still have 100 billion. Yeah, I said it out loud. Why do we have a government shutdown? If I had 140 million and you guys think I'm playing, we would not have a government shutdown. Because what's the difference between 140 billion and 100 billion?
Well, just come in, you take it over with your 100 billion.
That's the whole flaw in what a lot of people think got us here is that trickle down. It's this trickle down economics theory. Like, that is a fatally flawed thought that people at the top were going to just spend all their money and it would trickle down to the rest of us. You didn't get to the top by spending all your fucking money.
No.
Like, you weren't trying to share it at that point. So yeah, he might have 140 billion, but he's not going to pay the debt.
So how are the most intelligent people, the PhDs, the master's degrees, all those people, what do they tell you to do? Go make money. Get out of the house when you're 18. Get out when you're 21. Don't stick together and pool the money together and get stronger. Go be like Jeff Bezos. Go be like the other rich guy. We send our kids right down the same stupid trap that doesn't make sense to sustain a society. So we're going to eventually eliminate ourselves, and it's going to start with the rich people doing what he said by getting more computers and AI to handle all the shit that we make mistakes on, like showing up to work on time and not being fucking drunk and not being whatever, because the kiosk is always going to be there. It's not going to be drunk, and it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, we're going to get one guy to come up and fix it and fix the other one and fix the other one, and we're all going to just slowly eliminate ourselves. And who's going to be left? R-I-C-H.
Right. But again, the fatal part of that flaw is to be rich, there has to be poor. You can't just have all one.
No, that's what they do want. And that's awesome, because there used to be different levels. Remember, there was the poverty line, right? All right. Then you had the people right above it. I don't know if you want to call it the lower class. Okay. Then you had the lower middle class.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you had the middle class. Then you had the upper middle class. And then you had the elites and so on, and whatever percentages you want to go up to the top of the whatever. Well, they've slowly been putting more and more people into the welfare and the poverty class, and they stripped the lower middle class, and then they went to the middle class, and then the next one is going to be the upper middle class. And I'm looking at all these people that are trying to jump into the next class, and I'm like, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're having fucking babies. You're having babies.
Damn!
That's so stupid.
Breathing.
You're so stupid. You're making it so much harder for your kid to be successful, and you're dumb.
Turn on the nature channel.
And there's only two reasons why: is either you're fucking programmed or you're just stupid.
It's nature. Cheetahs are still fucking even if they're in wildebeest to eat.
Well, I just want you guys to know what's coming, so don't be like, oh, I can't believe this happened. It is what it is. So either get ready and prepared or join. But don't be like, oh, nobody ever told me. Tune in. Alright, we'll start again. It's late. That's already 10 something. We good, man. Oh, shit.